This nervous system, it's got to come down. It's got to go back to normal. It takes the nervous system a little time to catch up. And once it's shot all the way out there, it slings all the way back this way with like the rubber band the other way. So you got to get back between the lines. And I'm not there yet. Listen, it takes the time it takes. That's all I can say.
That's
Right?
good. Yeah, that was an adventure, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right, good day, everyone. I am MJ Polk, and I am here today with my fellow Substacker and Guild members, Southern Rider Guild members, Gray, Grace, Lynn Merritt, and Rick West, aka Primal Beat, aka Bo. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm
Awesome.
awesome.
Great night. Yep. Beautiful night.
Awesome. Well, I think we'll just go ahead and get right into it tonight. I want to congratulate Rick on featuring the Guild's first full length novel on the Southern Writers Guild. I mean, Rick, big deal, man. Big deal.
Thank you.
Big deal. That ain't no little novelette you got out there, dude.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And it's been it's been very interesting. Let's put it that way. It's been a very interesting time. Um, I was really happy to put it out there, and hopefully some people will enjoy it.
Yeah, I think they are. So when we last talked in the pre-video, you had mentioned that you weren't exactly sure how you were going to release it and what all you were going to do with it on there. And I know we did some margin notes, and we got the first part of the book on there. So how about tell our video watchers and subscribers, and I guess non-subscribers, kind of what's on there now and what the plan is for it going forward.
Okay, well, as you mentioned, it was the very first thing we've done in terms of a novel, and I realized pretty quickly that I wasn't going to be able to put all the entire novel out there. It wouldn't make any sense anyway. So what I wound up doing was I put, I believe, the first 10 chapters in week one, and without any comment. Then over weeks 2, 3, and 4, began to, I think in week 2 we introduced some characters and put the character studies out there. I think that maybe that was the week we put the music out there, the song. And then in the 3rd and 4th weeks, we kind of more summarized the backside of the story and added some writer notes so that we gave at least some indication of the thought process behind the story. And that kind of how I decided to go with it. I hopefully it was interesting to folks, but that's rather than just produce the novel and which will you can get, by the way, it's on Amazon, and we're going to do some other things with it too. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's kind of the process we took. I was more interested in showing. As you may recall, I did a series called Antique Bastards, where we talked a whole lot about process. We talked a whole lot about how the story came to be. I didn't want to do nearly as much of that with this novel. It's a different kind of novel. First off, it wasn't really available for that kind of that's that kind of analysis, but that kind of backstory. But we did provide the backstories. When I write stories, particularly longer ones, I always start with a series of characters. The characters come to me in some weird way every time, in a dream, or in this particular case, I watched some. It was a really bad movie, but it was a movie about like the Nantucket coast, and it had these kind of weird
On
little
Hallmark.
characters. It might have been. It might have been. I can't pretend. It might have been a Hallmark movie, but it was one of those really, like goofy things. But anyway, long story short, I saw these characters, not my characters, but I saw how they kind of interplayed these goofy little characters, right? And I thought, you know what? I can write that better than they can. I can write this novel better. And I started thinking. I grew up in Florida, but I spent a lot of my several years of my adult time in Pensacola Beach, in Florida. So I know Pensacola Beach well, and I know that there's a lot of intrigue. It's a tourist town, but there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes, right? And we know enough about that to be able to tell the story. So basically, I created these characters, and the one I just love is Ivy Lee Collier. She's the whiskey hurricane.
She's the song, yeah.
Yeah, and she's sort of the impetus for the whole story, and it's a it's a love triangle that plays out in a the love triangle playing out is not the story, but it's an interesting piece of the story,
Right.
and
under a lot of constraint, that love triangle. There's a lot of other stuff going on for sure.
There's definitely a lot going on. So anyway, that's long story short. That's how I decided to handle it. Hopefully, it's interesting. I encourage anybody who likes pulpy beach type fiction to pick it up and read it, because it's kind of fun.
Oh, it's a total summer read.
Yeah.
Absolute summer read. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody
absolutely.
needs it to take to the beach.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and about the process.
Uh-huh.
So one of the things that really, I think I got noted here, it's margin notes number 2. So that'd be week number 2.
Mhm.
You said, I didn't write a story about events. I wrote a set of conditions and let them close. So for me, that was real profound. I don't write like that any kind of way. I mean, I'm an auto fiction and memoir type writer as far as my fiction stuff most of the time. So how'd you do that? And then, so would you consider yourself, is that like a planner type thing? Did you have this whole thing planned out? Was it more of like what I like to call the signpost method? I can't remember where I got that from, but where you kind of, there's some points that you're going to hit, but how you get there and is anybody's guess sometimes, and you're not afraid to detour, and follow a character as well. How'd you do that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I do kind of write to a set of conditions. That is actually a true statement. Obviously, in this particular case, let's go back to the bad movie for a minute. As I'm watching this movie, I'm thinking, you know what? If I were going to write this story, this is what I would do, right? So I kind of came into it with an idea of how I would, of how the story should play out, right? And like literally from the first 10 minutes that I thought about it, the plot didn't deviate from my idea a whole lot. I mean, a little bit here and there. So it was definitely a planned set of events. And it's one of those things, it's like, if you're going to get to this spot, certain, A, B, C, and D have to happen, right? We have to have a conflict. We have to have some sort of, a lot of things that go into plot, right? As I mentioned, I think in the last week when I did this, I think as I read back over it, I think I probably talked too much. I think a lot of those things you can just kind of let the dialogue handle, and it's part of the process of learning how to write. I mean, and I've been writing for years, but I mean, doing a novel, something a little bit different.
For sure.
And I think a lot of things you don't just say out loud. You let the dialogue carry it. And I kind of learned a little, I think I'm better at that at the end of that story than I was at the beginning, honestly. Okay. But I think in the next novel that we write, we'll know a lot more about how to use dialogue to tell a story. Right. But back to the point, this particular one started out with a plan. Now the antique story did not. The antique story just sort of popped itself into being minute to minute. But this First Light story, which is was very constructed, very constrained to begin with. And when I say I wrote to conditions, it's because I knew that we had to have, we needed a Mac. We needed somebody who was like the village stalwart, right? That guy just had to be in the story.
Right.
We needed, you know, the two women who were at odds with each other, right?
Right.
Who kind of rolled around each other's orbit. That kind of had to be there. And then this Jake had to be this. Is he me? Not sort of, not really. I mean, you never. I think they're all me and they're all not me. Who knows?
Right.
But this Jake had to have some savvy, some knowledge, and have some reason for being there. So you know, there were a lot of conditionalities that kind of folded into the story. Fiction is an odd beast. Fiction is I mean, you don't, characters don't just come out of thin air. They're always a little bit of, but you know, we all of us know thousands of people. We've seen thousands of things happen over the years, and we kind of bring all that into one, make it all cohere into one big story. So everybody's a little bit me and everybody's a little bit the world, right? And that's true in every story we write. And I'm sure it's true in every story that you guys write. I mean, I am never just autobiographical. That's my life isn't that interesting, but when I combine it with others, it starts to become pretty cool, right? So
Yeah, man.
I disagree. I think that your life is pretty interesting. You could probably just write about that, but you.
I mean,
Well,
my man is in a foreign country right now.
Right.
I made some pasta today. But yeah, you know, I made some tomato sauce today, so that could be interesting, I guess. But no, I hear what you're saying. It's life is interesting, but minute to minute, it's, you know, it's just, we're just living, we're just breathing, just like everybody else. And you know, we and I'm speaking for all of us. We collect data all the time about the world, and the writer's job really is to take that data and make it something bigger than it is, if that makes sense. To pull what you see out there into a series of events that
Absolutely.
are not necessarily the norm. Although the First Light story doesn't really deviate from the norm a lot in terms of just moment to moment. I do write some magical realism, and you'll see some of that. But this is not that. This is a beach story. This is just a fun story.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Summer story, summer read. So when you gonna put the rest of it on there, rest of the book on there, and paywall it? What are we doing? What we doing with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think what we're going to do is over on the guild page, on this page, Southern Writers Guild, we'll leave the 4 weeks of analysis, or the 4 weeks of feature. That'll stay up for free for a while, and we'll put the actual book behind the paywall. I think that does that work for you guys?
10 chapters, then you're going to leave them, at least for now.
Right. And the summaries of the rest of the story. So
Awesome.
Somebody can read that stuff and kind of know what the story's about. But if you really want the story,
oh yeah, I mean, you
have to pay.
Summarize a bit in that 4th week, but it's no substitute for those last 30 chapters. Let me tell you, guys, it's no substitute. You got to read the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to read the book.
I appreciate that, dude. I appreciate that. But you know what I really want to talk about tonight?
What?
We've got another feature coming up.
Yes, we do.
My feature's over, and I really enjoyed it and had a lot of fun with it, and I hope you guys did too. But guess what comes next? This is really going to be, honestly, probably even a little cooler. But so somebody want to talk about that?
So our 3rd feature is going to be Miss Grace Lynn Merritt.
Okay.
What Grace does, what Grace does that I don't do, and when we did The Ugly Duckling, both of those stories are about us, but not so much. And I don't know. I don't want to take any. I don't want to make any assumptions about the stuff that you write.
I would call Grace. I would call her an autofiction writer. I mean, that's how I would classify her stuff.
Well, her stuff is a lot more. I don't say personal, because I don't know if I don't know if it's fiction or not. But it's a lot more about the day-to-day realities. if I write from sort of a male perspective, and she's writing from sort of a female perspective. And her stories, I think you guys are going to find them real interesting because they dig into that emotional aspect that I'd rather just not touch, honestly. But she, she'll go there, and they're very interesting. So you go from there, Grace.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I have a story. It's somebody called it a triptych novelette length short story,
Ooh,
something like
Okay.
that.
I
There's
like it.
there are 3 stories that make up the collection, and it's called Opera Rose and Other Devotions. The 3 stories are they started out as, well, no, they didn't even start out as the backstory. They are the backstory for a character in another
Okay.
piece that I'm working on.
In your big boy.
In my big boy, yeah. In the
Okay.
yes, in the big story. The first story, I had decided that I needed to know the backstory to this character. Like, I needed to know where she was coming from and what kind of baggage she was carrying. And so I wrote this story, and I wasn't planning on sharing it. It was just, they were notes.
Wow.
But when I finished it, or not when I finished it, as I was working on it, I realized it was a real thing. It was an actual story, and that I did want to share it. So I didn't really share it until, I mean, I've just been holding on to it.
Yeah.
But I knew that I wanted to share it. Aside from that, I started on that last year. And it was just kind of hanging out, waiting on the other 2. And I've talked about this on Turtle Meat some, and in some jukebox pieces too,
Mhm.
that I've written a lot of words since last year, but sometimes I feel like these smaller stories on Substack it's a very easy distraction to keep me from working on the bigger thing because of a lot of reasons. You finish them faster, you get feedback faster, little dopamine hits here and there. And because Rick can probably tell you, writing a novel is hard. And you don't get lots of little dopamine hits and lots of, little comments every day or every week saying, that's a great story. So it's easy to kind of put it on the back burner. And while I was putting it on the back burner, I was writing something else that also I wasn't going to share it. It wasn't that's not what it was. I was just working through just stuff and writing it out because that's what I do. But it sort of shaped into a story as well. And when I finished it, I thought that the character was a particular Southern woman, a particular type. And I asked y'all what you thought because I thought that the story needed to live on Southern Writers Guild, and you thought yes, but also MJ, you said that was definitely part of Grace's origin story. And it wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be the second backstory, but it is.
But it is.
And so I rounded it out with a third story, and we're putting them together, and we're featuring them. So
then in a way, this is also your character study that you're releasing to everybody that you've turned into stories is what it is.
yes. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. It really is. That is so impressive. I mean, I've written backstories for my characters, and they're sure as hell they're not stories.
She's very talented. She picks up the nuances of this little life very, very well. Can I ask something else kind of related, but not totally there? One of the things that you do routinely is mixtapes. Can you talk a little bit about what the mixtapes are about and why you do them?
So I make mixtapes for everything, for road trips and for good days and bad days. And I make mixtapes for particularly good batches of banana bread. It doesn't matter. I mean, yeah. So
Well,
anyway, when I started Substack, the mixtape was when I started Turtle Meat. The mixtape was just going to be part of it. That was, I mean, it wasn't a thought, not really a gimmick. It's just what I do.
mhm.
Um,
Well, you
so
came from Turtle Meat started on, did it start on YouTube? So you got a YouTube channel over there, is that right?
there is a Turtle Meat YouTube channel, and it mostly has all of the mixtapes from Substack, but then other mixtapes that I've made. It also has all of our interviews. They're
Yeah.
on the Turtle Meat YouTube
The little
channel.
shorts you made.
Oh
And
my!
the shorts as well. The
She
shorts
uses
as
them as
well.
commercials in between her videos. Those mixtapes, if y'all hadn't seen them and watched them, start with the tunes are always bitching. She is a master at making these things. But then she mixes in all these little clips of us, and somehow she picks the best ones. I don't know how she does it, but she makes us look pretty darn good on there, even though we look bad.
We don't look bad. Something that I've learned, something that I guess I've developed in this, because I have not been writing very long. I am not a better writer than anybody here who might have said something like that. Yeah, I've definitely, I guess, developed my voice or my style or the way that I write, which is restraint, maybe leaving out, maybe not telling it all. I guess I trust that the person who's reading it can pick up on what's not there. But sometimes the mixtape does go where the story didn't go. Fills in the gaps.
Oh,
Not always. Sometimes the mixtape to a piece is just like the vibe of the piece.
okay.
And sometimes it's inspired by it, or maybe songs that are mentioned in the piece. And sometimes it's something else. So all the mixtapes, I don't know, have a little different flavor. But this one's a long one because story's a big deal.
It must be
Okay.
something else.
Well, I love your mixtapes. Your mixtapes
Me
are
too.
always like seeing them, and I'm getting the distinct impression that you really like the Lumineers and the Red Clay Strays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, she's
I like
turned me on to the Red Clay Strays. They're awesome.
But that's my theme song. It's
I'm
not
not.
okay.
I told Cotton he can't have it. He's done figured out a different one.
Okay, good.
He was playing Waylon the other day. I saw that.
He's found the perfect song. He won't shut up about it. Lord Almighty.
Okay.
Every time he pulls up, it's just blaring on the damn radio. This guy.
This guy.
I'm a big
Speaking
fan
of which,
Cotton.
he is he won't shut up about going to Alabama this past week. Evidently, he came to the rescue when I was too busy to help.
I mean, that I'm even here talking to either one of y'all after you did that to me, but whatever.
Yeah, me and Rick kind of Bo. I think Bo might have showed up too, but Cotton, he wouldn't shut up about it. You arranged a book deal over there. You did some kind of super awesome reading. Is that right? You got up on stage and were like the best reader at the whole place. That's what he was saying.
Some of that is true. I did get up on stage and read from one of my stories. I did do that, yes.
Which story?
Cypress and Ruins.
Okay, that's a Guild story.
It is a Guild story.
I think yeah.
It is the second story in a series of 3, and because I have not written yet the first and the third, I'm writing the first and the third, but they're not done yet. But yeah, it is on the Guild, and I mean there was a time limit, so I just read a section. I read the 3 trips the 3 stops they made on the trip home.
Is it a milestone for you?
The reading?
The read, yeah.
Oh yeah, it definitely. No, it was good. I mean, I was nervous. I was terrified. I cried that morning.
Oh my God.
I was a little worked up. I cried that morning, but I met Mr. Hank and Brooke for lunch that day, and there was a beer waiting for me, and that helped.
Oh,
That helped.
there, there you go.
That don't surprise me a bit. That don't surprise me at all. He said that you got up there early or something, like you thought you were going on after the intermission, and you got there early, but then you had to go up early, but then he had to something about some signs.
Right. So it was all kind of crazy. I was supposed to go up after the intermission. That was my time slot. And I was just standing over there with Mr. Hank and Brooke and looked up and saw my name on the screen. So, and she was introducing me. So I don't even think I had my piece in my hand. Like I had to find it. Like I'd sat it down somewhere. Just it. Yeah, it was. I wasn't ready. It wasn't my turn. When I practiced at home, I was just sitting in here and I was looking at my piece on the screen and reading it and recording it and practicing slowing down because I was told I talk too fast or read too fast. And then it occurred to me that night that I wasn't going to have a teleprompter. I wasn't going to have a screen in front of me. I was going to have to read from the paper on the podium, and I hadn't practiced for that. So Mr. Hank came up with a solution.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was.
Do you want to know?
I mean, yeah.
It was legal. It was legal. It was.
Well, if Brooke was there, I'm pretty sure it was legal.
Yes, it was legal. He held up cue cards.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Did it work?
I think so. I mean,
it must have worked because he said you did great. Brooke even said how great you did and that she didn't even know why you made such a big deal about being so upset about doing it, that you just breezed right through it like it was nothing up there.
No, I did not. I did not.
You didn't?
No. On the inside, let me tell you something. It was, no, it was a circus.
Well, you must have conquered your Ruth moment then, because they sure thought otherwise.
It's the duck theory, where you look like you're just gracefully moving along, but you're paddling like crazy under the water.
That's kind of what it was like. Yeah. I asked some people. I actually had, so Mr. Hank and Brooke came, which was the best. That meant a lot to me. But I had a couple of other friends show up, and that was good. But so I asked them after, I was like, did you notice that I had a death grip on the podium? Because I apparently have a death grip. Did I tell you about riding the bike with my friend? And so the next day I showed up and he was working on the bike. He said, I'm going to ride this one today. You can ride the other one. I'm like, what? Why? And he said, well, whoever rode this one last had a death grip on the brakes and they pulled the cable out. And that was me. So yeah, but I mean, he knows me. He knows that I have a death grip on it, about everything. I have a death grip on the steering wheel when I drive. And I had one on the podium. I was holding that podium. That podium was not going anywhere.
It was not going anywhere.
But they said they were like, no, I didn't notice that. After you started reading, you seemed like you relaxed. So, but I caught myself in the middle. In the middle of reading, I almost started laughing at myself because I was holding on to the podium.
Well, I can't wait to see it. Are you going to show it to us, or are you going? What is there some kind of plan?
There's a plan in the works, but it's not ready yet.
Okay.
Well, we certainly hope to see it. And I guess to kind of start to close out a little bit, Let me just say that I'm real happy that I was able to do a feature. I know MJ did a feature earlier, and I think he loved doing it. And hopefully, we'll talk about this as a group more. But I think what we're going to do in the not too distant future is start opening up the features to people from outside of our group. We kind of wanted to feature each of us and let the world know who we are, and then we're going to kind of move out from that. So to wrap that up, I'm very happy that I was able to do it. I thank you for the honor, and I can't wait to see what Grace is going to come up with next, because it's we have seen it, and we've seen the writing. I'm real curious to see what she does with it, and I suspect it's going to be very interesting.
Me too.
So,
Rick, it was your feature's awesome. And it's going to still be on there, everybody, guys. So if you've missed it or hadn't had time or saw some of it and want to see the rest of the book, it is available on Amazon. You can get this bad boy on Amazon right now. You can get it. We're going to put a link in this. There's links on the page. You can get it on the Guild, on my website, which has got a Guild book page on there. And you're not going to be disappointed. It's going to be the perfect book to take with you on your vacation this summer, without a doubt. You headed down, especially if you headed down to the Gulf Coast. You head down to Pensacola down there, and then hey, you better take this baby with you. Is what I'm talking about.
It's gonna be good if you can't make it to the beach too, though. It's not just a beach read. It's not that kind of beach read. It's
a curious book.
It's a good.
No, but you got to have it with you if you're going to the beach. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, you have to take it if you're going to the beach. But if you're not going to the beach, you still want to read it. It's a good story.
So MJ, do you have a copy of Cotton's book nearby? Put it up there.
I got one of them too.
Put that up there too. The Ugly Duckling's another guy. That was our first feature. Another very interesting story. It's more of a novella. It's about like 16, 17 chapters. But it's another really interesting story. We all have different styles, and you'll notice it pretty quickly. So all very good, though. All very good. And pick up the Ugly Duckling too. That's a fun story. It's a fun read.
Yeah, and Hank will have the audio will be uploaded for that book for paid subscribers on the 10th. By the 10th is the same time I think Rick is going to have the rest of First Light on there for paid subscribers as well. So if you're looking to upgrade, now's the time, baby. Because the next one we got coming, you don't want to miss that for sure.
Well, guys, it's been fun, been interesting. Can't wait for the next round. And Grace, you're on.
Grace, you're up.
Okay, I'm ready.
Peace out, everybody.
Later on.
All right.
I'm never going to have a coherent set of thoughts